No.
You.
Hey.
We. Hey, everybody, what's up? The DOYO Live marketing show with my good friend Deanna Fusillo, presented by iSynergy. We are talking about the Facebook news feed today and the future of what it has in store. Hi, everybody. Dennis Giraldi, founder of DOYO Live, Digital Marketing Interactive Design Conference presented by iSynergy, coming to you October 17th and 18th. I hope that you can all hear me. And if you want to be on the DOYO Live marketing show, I am actually going to put into the comments right now. You could join us, jump on, ask Deanna or myself a question. Yeah, it's been a few weeks, but you've got the seat as all. And what's going on?
Nothing. You know, I never know when I can really jump on or not. So I'll be honest. It's like, I know like I'm always invited, but sometimes I just let it sit back and it's like, I don't know, should I jump on or just let it roll?
I have an uncle that used to yell at me when I go to his house when I was a kid. I'd knock on the door and he'd be like, "Why are you knocking on the door? Just come in. It's like your uncle's house, right?" He lived like 2 blocks away.
Uncle Dennis.
So it's like, look, the door is always, if the door is locked, then so as long as there's obviously as long as we're on, everybody's always welcome into the DOYO Live marketing show. That's for sure. But in any case, I hope that you've had a good week. It's been a crazy busy week. You can follow me at Dennis Giraldi on Instagram. I posted my week on my stories and need to start doing that more because I really look at my to-do list and I beat myself up at the end of the week and I'm like, I got nothing done. But then I'm like, holy shit, I got a shit ton done. Like, you know, and then I start like listing all the stuff and the stuff I can share and I can't share. And I'm like, wow, like big accomplishment. I did get a lot done this week.
Yeah.
Are you a list maker?
Yes. And let me just show you, like, this is I do it digital too, but like this right here is like my list and calendar. So it's like, I'm always putting everything on. I've got to check it off. I need like, when you check it off, I feel empowered. So it's like, I have to still write it down. As digital as I am, I need to write lists and check things off.
No, I'm an incessant list maker, to-do list maker. My lists have lists. I absolutely believe in the fact that you need to cross things off the list and check them because especially in like what we do from a marketing perspective, the job is never ending. Social media is never ending. And so you have to have a little bit of that sense of accomplishment in doing that. And it helps me stay actually organized as well.
Oh, me too. I agree.
So, we got a few people on the line today. If you want to join us in the comments, you can join us. All you have to do is click that link. It's going to pull you in, and then I will add you to the feed. And what would you do? Well, you'd ask us a question, and we might be able to answer it for you. And no, Ralph, I'm not the creepy uncle. The creep.
That's why I'm cracking up. I just saw his comment.
Have you ever seen Ralph's profile picture? Speaking of creepy. I'm just giving him shit. Anyway, we love you, Ralph. You know that, and you've got a seat. He's like my Ed McMahon. Anytime he wants, he's got a seat here.
Right? He's always got something to say.
So, Deanna, there's obviously a lot of conversation going on right now, and we were having a very spirited conversation about reach and engagement on obviously on Facebook from a marketing perspective. What do you think, or what are you hearing about the Facebook news feed, whether it's business or personal related, as in regards to like people are like, it's going away. No, it's staying. No, it's going away. And the other day I made a post that if it's going away, why does Facebook continually ask me to promote and engage with growing my followers and likes to my page?
Well, for money.
So for money.
Add dollars.
Sure.
Right? You know, I don't know if it is going away or not. I've heard both as well, and I never know what Facebook is going to do. I do think it's going to change as far as the way it is now. And I believe from the things I've heard, there's going to be a lot more video. And I feel like a broken record because we've said this for how many years, like, right, video, video, video. But again, they are pushing it, and they're really pushing the watch, right? Facebook Watch, and creating shows. And I've heard a lot about that. Facebook really wants you to start creating these show platforms, and that's really where they're going to put a lot of emphasis behind. So, will the news feed, the way we know it, go away? I think it's going to change. I think the way it looks is going to change. I don't know if it's going to go away completely, but I think there's definitely taking it a different route. What do you think? What's your opinion on it? Do you think it's going away? I mean, they're growing groups. They're focusing groups, and they're focusing on video. And what are your thoughts?
I think it's like email going away. You see that happening anytime soon? It's how the business world obviously communicates, right? And so I do think that, and I've admitted this multiple times, that we didn't take groups seriously enough. And I think that there are some alternatives on Facebook that are very much worth exploring as an opportunity. And number one is Facebook groups. Number two are stories. In fact, that's a conversation I had this morning of like getting more creative with Facebook stories and figuring out how to incorporate that as a part of the strategy, because the conversation is leaning towards that. I do not see that the news feed is something that is going to completely go away, because it is Facebook's moneymaker when it comes to businesses advertising and putting content into your feed.
Right.
So how are they going to take that big chunk of change and replace that? Now, there's this conversation that's going on, I think that's super early, to grow your messenger list within Facebook. Now, I've been using Messenger for at least a year or two in my prospecting one-on-one with people to get like engagement when I can't get them on the phone or email, and I really want to connect with them. But they're saying that from that perspective, like, build your messenger list and then use that like an email list. And the engagement rates are super off the charts. My challenge with that is that Facebook said back 10 years ago and up to 5 years ago was, hey, build your fan page, build your business page, get a bunch of likes, 10, then 7, then 5, then 3. Now 1% of that audience ends up seeing your content, and we make you pay for the rest of it. I have this feeling that if you build your messenger list, it's eventually in a year, 2 years, 5 years going to look like MailChimp or Constant Contact.
Mm-hmm.
1,000, 5,000, 10,000 contacts in those email platforms cost you X.
Right.
Facebook is not going to let you have 5,000 people in your messenger list and not say, boy, you know what? That's amazing. Like, continue to use that for free. Right. I think so. I'm cautious on that tactical thing, but I don't think that, money ends up being a big driver behind these decisions, as opposed to what I think you hear about experience and privacy and all these other conversations. There's the shareholders, and the stock keeps going up, and that's driven through the ad dollars, and that the bulk of those ads show up in the news feed. So until they figure out another revenue stream for the news feed, it's not going anywhere.
Well, I think they have figured out some other avenues. I mean, like you're talking about Messenger, right? They're putting those ads in in Messenger already, and that's probably going to continue to grow as we start to use Messenger more and more. You're going to see more of those ads being placed in there. And then video, they're doing the ads in the middle of the video. And now, and we've had this discussion, you and I, you're able to monetize that, so they are finding other platforms to run those ads.
I agree with that. So they're obviously diversifying where revenue streams come from, right?
Yep.
But at scale, and the bulk of that revenue right now is that one client, which is news feed, right? So like, you have an agency, you work with 10 clients, or no, let me back up. you work with 3 clients and you look down and you say, wow, like one client is 80% of my revenue and the other 20% is split between 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a vulnerable position. I need to go out and get 3, 4 more clients because that 80% goes away. I'm screwed.
True.
And then,
Yeah.
right? So Facebook's like, oh, like, we have all this money tied up into the news feed, and that's the revenue. What's the other revenue streams that we can get? And those represent a small piece of that pie.
Right. No, I agree. I don't think the news feed is going to go away. But I do think it's going to look different. And it continues to change. I mean, look how different it looks now compared to 5 years ago. I mean, honestly, it's frustrating. If we're going to be honest, it's so frustrating the way it keeps changing. I do want to see things that are not showing up in my feed, and I may not always engage with them, but I'm still curious about it.
Like,
so when I see their ad,
Like, what do you mean? Like, you want to see things?
There are some pages, for example, that I've liked years ago, right? Obviously, like you get your interests kind of change, but I've liked business pages from the past that I've totally forgot about. And they will run an ad, or I'll see a friend of mine share it. And I'm like, oh, wow, I totally forgot that I like that page. Let me go check it out. And then, a lot of them were bloggers, to be honest. Like, I followed a lot of bloggers 10 years ago and haven't seen them in years. But if I see something come up and I go back and start reading their blogs, I realized how much I actually missed them.
But you subscribe to their newsletter? Like, did you just get that sent to your inbox, or did you just follow them on social media?
I just follow them on social media.
Oh.
Yeah.
I always wonder about some friends. I'm like, did they die? Or did they just not show up and, like,
right? Especially when birthdays come up, you're like, hey, wait, I forgot about this person.
All right.
So, you need more rain. Oh my gosh. I hear everything about the rain out there. I feel so bad.
We're all right. It's not that bad. All right.
That's what my brother said. He's like, it's not that bad.
I mean, we had one freak downpour, and then, like, it did rain a couple days in a row, and, like, I don't know, like, it's not that bad. Okay, so moving on from the Facebook newsfeed conversation, if you want to join the conversation, you want to be a part of the show. This is what's amazing about social media, is that we were like, if you can imagine sitting watching your favorite TV or news show, and, like, they all of a sudden are like, do you want to be on the show? So if you want to be on the Do Yo Live Marketing Show, if you're brave enough to take up one of our other 2 seats, you can stop on in by grabbing a comment right now, and you can, like, plop in, ask a question, anything about marketing, social media, business, whatever it is that you want to ask us, you can drop on in, and you can do that, and you can become not just a watcher, but you could actually become somebody that is not working to join. It's not working, Ralph, really?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, bring on Ralph. When you say brave enough, I always feel bad. Like, I feel like whoever comes on, it might be tortured by us. Like, you don't have to be brave. If you want to have fun, hop on.
Yeah. You don't have to be brave. Like, you just want.
You don't have to be brave.
You have to want to be on camera. So, next question I have is something that I posted to LinkedIn video yesterday, and I'm really, I'm always shocked. Like, people are like, "Oh my God, LinkedIn is the next best thing. Like, you need to get on LinkedIn," and it's like literally the social media platform that I've been on since 2005. And I just love how, like, people are, hey, back on the LinkedIn bandwagon and all this stuff. Anyway, my video that I questioned or put on there was this, is that Mark Twain kind of coined the phrase that there's really no original ideas that are out there today. Like, everything's already been thought of. BASF used to say, we're not, like, making a phone, we're making it better. If you look at the world of inventions today, it's like we have the automobile, but like, did we invent a new form of transportation, or we just made the automobile like a little bit cooler, making it electric with a computer in it, right? Like a phone's been around forever, and we've just made it better by making it mobile, and now it's a computer inside your, you know, your pocket. And so that comes into the next thing that I said, is that basically, you know, I met with somebody here locally, and and they were telling me about how they did these things back in the early 80s. I'm sorry, late 80s in Youngstown, and it's been replicated now over and over again. And I was like, so how do you feel about that old statement that imitation is the ultimate form of flattery? Like, it's all bullshit. She's like, she literally goes across the table at me. She's like, that's all bullshit. That's what they tell you to make you feel better about it, right? And you know, and she's like, you know, I get, and so what do you think about that whole statement? What do you think about when you're consciously or subconsciously looking at social media, or you see something and you're like, you know, that's just something I did last week, last month, last year, and it's either a workshop or even is individual as a post. What do you think about that?
So great question, because that happens a lot. I mean, it does, and it's not going to go away. And I'll be really honest, it depends who the person is. Now, of course, if it's like in my close circle and I do a workshop, and then the next thing I know, somebody's doing the same workshop, or, you know, at first you kind of get mad. Like, you're kind of like, come on now. Like, there's a million different things you can do, right? I actually had somebody, wait, no lie. I actually had somebody copy my About Me page on my website and put it on and their About Me page on their website, but change their name. And that blows my mind, because they were in Youngstown. It wasn't like they were in, you know, California or New York or, you know, Argentina. Like, they were in the same town, and somebody else
Really?
wanted my attention. Yes. Word for word, except for their name, they copied it. And I'm like, no, come on. So yeah, you know what? At first, yeah, you get pissed off. You're like, think of something else. Like, try to come up with your own thing. But then I kind of have to tell myself, you know what? It's always going to happen. You're not going to change it. And the difference is in the delivery. Like, somebody can duplicate, they can take one of my programs and duplicate it, but they can't duplicate my brand. They can't duplicate the way that I deliver it and who I'm delivering it to. They can tweak it, make it their own, and deliver it to whoever they're focusing on in their own way. But, you know, it's not going to stop. It's always going to happen, but you are the only one who can deliver your product the way you do. So that's my only saving grace, is to remind myself of that.
Interesting.
What do you do?
So, you know, it doesn't feel like flattery a lot of times, but I know that it validates like what I'm doing.
True, very true.
Right. So you can kind of kiss my ass, because the fact is that you're following behind me. And so that's fine. Right. I had this experience early on in my career where it was a corporate environment. There were 6 of us managers from across the country managing our region from a marketing perspective. And I had implemented something into our business in our region that basically impacted bottom line revenue by like $2 million. And the company thought it was a great idea. So at the marketing level, we rolled it out across our 6 managers. Well, when it came down to the national conference, they said that that individual basically took that concept and said that they had rolled that out. And even the other 4 managers, a call 3 months ago, and you know, like, they made you present this, and then they said it was his. And I was just in the mindset, like, when I got in the elevator with that person, and like, kind of like, truth, And I didn't like, for me, it was like, that was the big FU. Like, you want to be a horse thief, be a horse thief. The only
Yeah.
thing that I realized is that it actually impacted my pocket. So then when it started to impact my pocket is when I like started to like say to myself, like, oh, that's interesting. They got a bonus. I
Yeah.
didn't, right? So I think that a lot of it, when I'm doing something, whether it's an idea on a webinar and I see that it's replicated, or a workshop or any of those things, that's great. That's fine. Lets me know that obviously we're doing something right. Other people want to follow it. Where I start to get a little bit annoyed is when it starts to impact your livelihood. And so
Mhm.
when people aren't willing to necessarily give you credit for your creation, or, like, I'm really good at stealing ideas and sharing them shamelessly, but also giving credit where credit is due to the right person. And
Yeah.
I've been the biggest proponent of preaching now for 2.5 years of why you need to be doing Facebook Live. So when I see somebody show up and do a Facebook Live show, I'm glad they're taking my advice. It would
Yeah.
be nice once in a while if they were like, hey, like, I'm
Do
really
you want to
glad,
come on
like,
the show, Dennis?
yeah, like, would you want to be on my show? Like, where did I come up with this brilliant idea? Oh, that's right. Like, we're literally replicating that effort. Maybe we should have them on our show, but that's fine. I don't need that. I got my own thing.
Well, obviously you do. So, it's always nice. It's always nice to be invited on someone's show, whether it's a live, a podcast, they're writing an article about you for their blog. Like, it is. It's nice to be featured.
The
And
reason, though, that I want to do it is I want to obviously bring value, create awareness, and then, drive the DOYO Live brand, drive my own brand. It's not necessarily, though, for the validation of something that I was doing, or because they, and so again, coming back down to it, where I have, the world's a big place, and I look around at things all the time, and I'm like, what can I pull in and kind of take and use of my own, whether it's you or any of my friends in marketing that are out there, or maybe just a roofing company that's doing something interesting. Um, where, like I said, like, where I just kind of hit the speed bump, and not a lot. I don't think about it a lot, but where I hit the speed bump is
right.
like, it's kind of my livelihood. And if it's not necessarily your livelihood that you're depending on it wholeheartedly, then, that's where you start to be like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it gets frustrating because and I've heard this from other people, right? People will post a picture, like maybe I think there was somebody, if I'm remembering correctly, um, they baked out of their home and they were posting pictures, right? And then another company started using their pictures for their food product that was like a startup and baking out of their home or cooking meals or something along that line. And it's like, I mean, it is so frustrating. I would love to hear like from other people, like if they're watching now or if they're watching the replay, when that happens, like, what do you say? Because it is frustrating, and I would love some tips on how to not let it bother me so much and let it kind of like run off. And I mean, I'll pretend it doesn't bother me and I'll smile and say, oh, good luck, but no, it totally does. When you share an idea of something you're thinking about with someone, and then 3 days later, oh my gosh, look at, they've just launched it.
With the worst is when they act like they invented sliced bread. It's
Right?
like, you're just like, wait a minute, like,
Yeah. Yeah, or they
but
invite you to it. It's
right, yeah.
like brilliant idea.
Well, look, I'm not the first person to ever have a marketing conference, and I'm not going to be the last person either. And I wholeheartedly go to other conferences, and I'm like, I like that. I didn't like that. I like that. I got my own ideas in my own head, and continue to evolve that. So anyway, I think it's an interesting thing. I think that I'm more geared towards pressing forward on a consistent basis, that I don't have much time to kind of put things in the rear view mirror, or pay attention to what's in the rear view mirror. But I do think that it makes for kind of and interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
I had one time, and I'll just one more story because it happens so much. One time I shared an idea that I had with someone, and then the next thing I know, I'm watching the idea that I had shared with this person unfold on social media. And they partnered up with an organization then and ran out my idea to the T, right? So long story short, probably a year later, Youngstown's small, so we're all kind of associated with everybody, right? And was able to look at the email about that idea. And the person had said they had worked months on it, like months and months. I'm like, that's interesting. Like, very interesting. Because it was like, I think it was 2 weeks after I had shared it. Like, I was like, oh my goodness.
Tell us another interesting story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I don't know, get creative, get a little creative. Right? I'm with you, David. I was trying to think of Yodo Live or Yodo Marketing. I think you should.
It's like the Yoda of marketing. Anyway, Real Live Marketing Show is presented by iSynergy. We are coming back for our 4th installation of the DOYO Live Digital Marketing Interactive Design Conference presented by iSynergy, October 17th and 18th. We've got all-day works, or all day. Oh, can you imagine that? How about 3-hour deep dive workshops? That's enough to keep us occupied. Pre-parties, after parties, and an all-day marketing conference with Joe Polizzi, founder of Content Marketing World and Content Marketing Institute, as our keynote speaker. Only 4,000 people from around the world attend his conference in Cleveland, Ohio. That costs $1,500. We're asking you to drop $150 in Youngstown, Ohio. Plus, you get about 20 breakout sessions. Deanna's, we're going to keep her busy that weekend or that week. And a lot of great speakers lined up. Would love for you to come. I appreciate the sponsorship by iSynergy and the support of Sassy Girl Media and all the other marketing companies that are out there in the Youngstown, Ohio area. Deanna, I got nothing more for you except I've got a dance recital tonight.
Awesome. Good times.
Not me, of course.
Well, I assume that, but yeah.
My lovely daughter has a dance recital, and God bless her because she sat through 40 baseball games this season. So we're all going to that. And then we wrapped up our regular season Little League last night. Boys had a good season. And we have some travel baseball this weekend. So that's it.
I love it. I love it. Well, have fun at the recital. And how the boys end up with baseball.
They did good.
Did they? Good.
Yeah, they did good. We lost our game last night, but they got playoffs next week. My oldest had a really great Little League season, and he's had a good travel baseball experience this year. And then my 8-year-old played up with the 8 or 9 and 10-year-olds, and he's just a happy kid, and he's done good. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I miss it. I'm looking forward to flying home to watch my boys play a little ball too. So
awesome.
Just trying to work out the details right now.
You all have a great weekend. Thank you for dropping by, Deanna. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
As always, and we'll talk to you all real soon. Have a great weekend.
Bye.